Okay, so did you make the wrong career move? I like that. Here, go. See, the monitor went out. I couldn't see. I couldn't see. Did you buy a house you really couldn't afford, or did you say something to your spouse you wish you hadn't?
Having regrets is certainly a normal part of life, but dwelling on them and feeling guilty can take a toll on your happiness and your health.
Here to help us push past regret is Dale Atkins, a psychologist and author of Sanity Savers, Tips for Women to Live a Balanced Life, and Jennifer Braunschweiger, More Magazine's deputy editor. Ladies, good morning. Good to see you.
Hi.
We've all got regrets.
Right.
Let's be Al, biggest one?
Not having the gastric bypass sooner.
You would have done it earlier.
I think it would have changed my life a lot easier.
Natalie?
I think for me is growing up as an Air Force brat, not keeping in touch with a lot of friends and even some family over the years.
I think a lot of us have that.
Yeah.
I think mine is I rushed into a job, the first job that came up. I felt like out of college. I needed to get to work. I wish I'd taken a year. I had some ideas about, going to Paris for a year. Or there was this strange offer to play in an odd professional basketball league in Ireland. Should have just done it. Just do it. Write a book about it. Go have some fun.
So, the O-Dunker.
Yeah. It was a league for guys like me, you know what I'm saying? But be honest, I mean, regrets, we all have them. Anyone who says I live without regret, they're lying, aren't they?
Yes, regrets are perfectly normal. Regrets are how we process the difference between what we expected to happen and what did happen. So they're sort of our mind's way of letting us know that perhaps we could have made a different choice or a different decision, but they're completely normal.
So are having regrets, is that a positive thing? I mean, I guess unless you're just overwhelmed with guilt, Dale, it might not be a good thing.
Well, that's the point. I think it can be positive if we use them as a way to learn from them. Yes. And if you are overwhelmed with guilt or you stay in the past and don't move forward, then it really can be very destructive to your health, to your well-being, to the people around you. But there are ways to use them as lessons and really move forward, which can be very instructive both for yourself and for your life choices.
Well, Jennifer, how can it be harmful, say, physically and emotionally?
Well, regret causes stress, and stress, as we know, can be very detrimental to our health. It raises the levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and that over time can compromise our immune system and cause other problems.
Dale, is there any value in going back and trying to rectify some of these regrets, whether it's a year later or 20 years later?
Absolutely. And I think it's the way we process them and what we think about them, because what we learn from them. Sometimes, if it involves a person, you can actually go back and you can talk to the person. You can say, this is how I felt then, this is how I feel now, and I ask your forgiveness, or I wish I had done it this way. And you can open a dialogue. Whether the person receives you in the way that you wanted to be received is secondary to the fact that you've been able to try and let this go and move it to a different level. Sometimes you're not able to, but you can change your life in relation to what you learned from the regret, and you can change your behavior, which then will change your health. Ideally.
Sometimes people can be paralyzed by regret, right? I guess having that fear of not knowing what will happen.
And they keep going around in a circle thinking about how awful they were, how stupid they were, why didn't they do this, why didn't they do that? And that keeps them in this downward spiral rather than integrating what they learned and being able to move forward and say, gee, I wasn't able to keep in touch with my friends when I was younger, but now I would like to keep in touch with friends if that's meaningful for me.
And do people look at regrets more if they're not happy with their life as opposed to if they are? Because no matter, if you're happy with your life, everything you did before has led up to what you are now.
Yes, absolutely. And furthermore, how we experience regret changes over time. So taking the long view, people tend to more regret things they didn't do, whereas in the short term, they regret things they did. So in the short term, you might regret a nasty thing you said, but in the long term, it tends to be more a chance you didn't take or an opportunity that you missed.
So are you going to go sign up for the O-Dunkers?
I think it's a little too late at this point. Sneaking up on 40, I don't think these knees will do it anymore.
Sneaking up, you've got like a couple years.
Really great conversation.
Thank
Jennifer,
you.
Dale, thanks so much. Good to see you both. Coming up, have you ever been invited to your friend's house and snooped in their medicine cabinet? Ooh. That's awfully creepy of you.
Wow.
And we want to know about it. Go to today.com right now and fess up. We'll talk about that and other house guest questions later in the show.
I regret inviting you to my home. It's not exercise if you're having fun. How you and your kids can stay fit and avoid some of the most common injuries through any age. But first, these messages.